Good morning. Pretty sure it's Thursday. What would the date be? 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th of July. I can't believe I'm still here. It's cooled down a little bit. I'm getting my morning sun. And I made 3 videos on matriarchy or patriarchy. And I divided it up into 3 parts. And the real overriding purpose of it is to prove that today's Jews and their culture, Lorraine no ball, go run. And their culture is not Israelite. They're imposters, thieves, and murderers. Their father was a liar from the beginning. And nothing has changed, except there's more of them today than ever before. And they keep trying to say they're a minority, and they're not that small of a minority. But the real problem is they got the rest of us mesmerized. They're using sorcery on us. Sorcery being psychological warfare, and the poisons that throw us off and make us think the way, well, they got all kinds of stuff they're using against us. And the main thing I want to emphasize from the matriarchy or patriarchy is that one of the things, and this is not something I got from my own reading, it was pointed out to me by the teacher that Yahweh hated when people worshiped the Queen of Heaven. I need you to think about that and consider it carefully. Why? Because the prophet said that was the ultimate reason why the Israelites were taken into captivity. And today, America is taken into captivity. They didn't move us to another country. Rather, they took another jurisdiction and superimposed it upon us where we're at right now. And Trump is the head of that at this point. I do think the man should be impeached for obstruction of justice. I'm all for going down the line of succession. Vance really isn't qualified. Speaker of the House Johnson, yeah, but we also know he's a big money spender. And the only way to save America is to chop this son of a bitchin' government down in size. I don't think he's the man for the job. I don't see anybody out there who's the man for the job, to be honest with you. So we need to agree to return to the structure our founders gave us. That's the unifying thing right there. All of those laws, everything was based upon the Bible, on the 10 Commandments, and other biblical things as well. For instance, your age for the average militia. You couldn't be a member of the militia until you were 20 years of age. Same thing in ancient Israel. Same thing the way it was in the early days of the states. So, we unite the country by agreeing on the Constitution, and we don't go left or right. We turn neither left nor right. And we agree to restore the original structure, which means our emphasis is going to be upon being hatchet men. We're going to chop at this government and get rid of the parts that we certainly don't need. Because every one of those things, including the non-government organizations, which the same bastards control today, it's all being used against us. So there should be no non-government organizations. You may say, well, geez, well, there shouldn't be an IRS either. Actually, it's not legal whatsoever. But I made a comment on somebody else's post. And I pointed out the fact, and this guy's done some hard time, and he goes by the numbers 5150, which means he's obviously been a prisoner in the California penal system, and he's calling himself crazy. He's tatted up like a rat's ass and then some. He's built a bit. And he's got that kinky hair, makes me think he's out of Africa, but they're racist as hell in the prisons. Anyway, Trump is the PEDO president. He's the Chomo president. He defends the Chomos and the pedophiles. He's protecting the whole system. And he's telling us that if we don't want to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein, the great hoax, that he doesn't want our support. Well, I say let's give him what he wants. Let's yank the rug out from underneath Trump's ass, impeach him for the third time, and remove him from the office. I'm all for swearing in J.D. Vance, even though he's a Bar Association bastard, and it's in violation of the 13th Amendment. And if that don't work, then we go to the Speaker of the House. It's happened before. Don't ask me when or where, but it was in this country, and I can't remember who it was that became. But, you know, Pence didn't do his job last time. Pence lied to the American public. But please don't get me wrong. The whole thing is jacked, man. It's totally controlled. You know, and I had an older friend or acquaintance at the Diesel Industries who was getting his rigs worked on. He'd been in and out of there with a couple of trucks for a long time, doing a lot of the work himself. Nice guy, but he was so dyed-in-the-wool Democrat that towards the end there, I could see the anger coming from him, the rage from his eyes. And I'm like, dumbass. I mean, yeah, I lean towards the Republicans, but the fact is that both parties are used to destroy us. And this idea, is Trump being used to destroy us? What do you mean, is he being used? You've got a president that brought out warp speed to deploy their bioweapon and do a good sales pitch on the rest of us. He never apologized for any of that stuff. You got a president who's he's just lifted all limits on the bad chemicals in water and in the air very quietly. Wow. Oh boy, there's Kennedy distracting us all because they're going to drop red food dye. You know, 25% of the manufacturers have agreed to drop it at some point. And he still backs the frickin' vaccinations. They're not vaccinations. There's something else. And these Moderna, Pfizer, and all that, those guys didn't even make these things like they claim or others claim they did. It was all Department of Defense, and that's what Jeffrey Epstein was up to. He was helping to make that shit. Those biological weapon labs in the Ukraine, 30 of them. He was involved in that stuff. Trump is obstructing justice and needs to be removed from office. Now, Vance is a BlackRock pointed out guy, so he's totally fucked up. But I'll tell you something, right now I'd rather get rid of Trump and take a chance on Vance and put the pressure on Vance. You will release the full Epstein file. There will be no redactions. And at this point, we might as well have the names of the victims too. I was on that guy's site, made a comment that if we really lived in a free country, it would be legal for us to look at frazzle drip. Frazzle drip. Last time I was on the radio 5 years ago, a friend of mine had watched frazzle drip, and I'm like, okay, great. I need you to testify on my show as a guest. She got on there and she choked. She wouldn't say what I wanted her to say. She was afraid I would get killed over it. And I'm like, fuck, I don't give a goddamn. I don't give a rat's ass. But it's my time to go. It's my time to go. Shut the fuck up, woman, and do your job. She didn't do her job. She's 5 years older than I am, and she's a goddamn psychologist, too. But she totally got bought into this asshole Trump and gave me a bunch of shit about, oh, you'd rather have Kamala for president. No. We dodged the bullet by voting for Kamala. The problem is now we have to ride Trump's ass out of office. He said he doesn't want our support. Let him have no support. Let's insist he be impeached and removed from office. And J.D. Vance, we got to reclaim that 13th Amendment. And if J.D. Vance doesn't do it right, let's get rid of him. Let's go to the Speaker of the House, Johnson. Not much better, but better yet. And he might be another goddamn bar association. And you may say, what's wrong with that? The 13th Amendment, that's why the South went to war. That's why the South seceded and Lincoln attacked. Because you see, it was against the law, against the Constitution, for a bar bastard to hold the office of president. And the South gave them notice, told the North, if you elect a bar bastard, Abraham Lincoln, who was really a grandson of a Rothschild, if you elect him to the office of the presidency, we're seceding from the Union. And by God, he was elected in November, and the following month in November, I believe it was North Carolina or South Carolina. I think North Carolina withdrew from the Union at that point. And then come January the next year, a lot of other people withdrew from the Union, and the final states that withdrew from the Union, and they were correct in withdrawing from the Union and their reason, but that's been hidden from you and I. The final state withdrew about June the following summer, as I remember reading it right. You can Google it. It's up there. They haven't suppressed that yet. They suppressed the fallen angel Gadriel and a lot of other shit on there. And you need to know something. It's a beast system. It's a beast system because they regard us as beasts, and then they have us enslaved, working for them to fund our own demise. Now, we unite based upon the Constitution, which says what the government cannot do. And we tell the government, you're not allowed to do that. You have to stop it. It's like the ATF. How the hell did we get stuck with that monstrosity? Now, I don't major in evil. I don't study it, and I don't give a rat's ass about it. I just know it's evil. It needs to go away. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. We need to get rid of that. Free men don't need that. Also, my comment that got me in trouble, and the guy said, we need to check his computer for kiddie porn. Some bullshit like that. He wants to see that stuff. No, man, I don't really want to see it. I did want to see it a while back, but I believe all the people that I've talked to that have looked at it, and I don't need to go there because I don't want to see it. I don't need to see that shit. I don't want that shit in my mind. But if we were in a free society wherein we could look at frazzle drip and all that shit the Clintons have been accused of, being with 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and cutting some girl's face off while she's alive, and I mean, just horrible stuff. But we can't watch it. Why? Because the law protects those bastards. It protects the Clintons. You and I can't watch that stuff because it's child porn. It's illegal to possess. Each frame, and there's 30 frames a second of these videos, I believe, that's 10 years in the penitentiary. So if you watch 1 second, that's what? 30 times 10, that's 3 centuries in prison. And they like to rack that up one on top of the other. So no, oh, and by the way, my friend who first reported that to me was in Ecuador. And she said the Ecuadorian government put it up on the website, and they made it explicitly clear they weren't putting it up there for titillation purposes. They were a devout, Catholic, family-oriented nation. That's before the communists took over Ecuador recently, and they really screwed up. And they wanted people to be aware of that so they could put it into that shit. Yeah, so if it wasn't illegal for you and I as good, whatever, as citizens to watch that shit, so we could confirm with our own eyes the evidence, well, it would take the whole damn thing down, but we can't do it. It's not legal. The law protects the guilty in this case. The law protects the predators. And apparently people still haven't gotten the idea. We export the largest number of children and even adults around the world into slavery around the planet. That's right. America takes in those illegal alien children, puts them on planes, and sells them abroad. It's a big business. Joe Biden had an island next to PEDO Island. What did he have on there? He had a helicopter pad, but more importantly, he had a rare submarine pin in underneath his island. And who was it that was driving the submarines? Well, he wasn't licensed to do it. His neighbor who lived on PEDO Island was licensed to fly helicopters and to fly submarines. Ghislaine Maxwell. And they're going to release her. They have to free it up so everybody can keep doing the free-for-all where they trade children for favors and power and blackmail. You ain't going to be able to put a stop to it. Now, that guy's in the prison. I know that anybody who's done time like that is dedicated And their rule and their law is very simple. You run across a chomo, you're obligated to dispatch them for the good of humanity and for all those children. And there's nothing more than an inmate hates than a child molester. That's how we get the word chomo. So you can call Trump a chomo. I don't see evidence of that, clear evidence, distinct evidence, but we can call him the PEDO president because he's protecting them all. And he was brought in there to take the whole damn thing down. If Kamala had been president, we would have already been fighting. Trump has got it delayed because you damn assholes don't know which way to go. We throw their asses out. We don't have to depend upon Trump. He said he doesn't want our support. Let's give him support right out of the damn office. Man, if I showed up in that Oval Office, I would tell that son of a bitch, get the fuck out of my seat. Thanks for keeping it warm, but get the hell out of my seat. Get your ass to Gitmo. We are going to have military tribunals on your asshole. There ain't no Secret Service detail going to be able to protect him from that. No, I don't want to go killing anybody. I really don't. I say my prayers. Yeah, I want some son of a bitches dead. That's right. I really do. But I want Yahweh to take him out. Actually, I don't want Yahweh to take him out. I want them prosecuted and totally humiliated and put to death, knowing full well that their crimes and sins have been exposed, at least to a large extent. Justifiable capital punishment, defending the children, defending the people. Yahweh doesn't bless rebellion. Yahweh blesses self-defense. It was not a revolution. It was a return to self-rule. That's how it was. The king had already set us free 4 years earlier. Vattel's Law of Nations. The French, with their warships, were attacking us and sending their Indians across the border against us. And we turned to our king to protect us. His obligation as king is to protect his subjects. And he didn't protect us. He let us down. And he said, oh, let them alone. Let them go on their own. They'll learn their lesson and they'll be begging me back for me back in a couple of years. And in 2 years, they were doing great, didn't want him back. That's when he attacked them and it became a war of self-defense. Now, I got 3 videos out there, matriarchy or patriarchy. There's a lot of stuff embedded in those videos, and it's not just about he said, she said. It's about the big picture so that you can actually know that these people that are claim they are Jews and practicing Judaism are not descendants of Israel at all whatsoever. Now, among them, there may be a straggler or two. And remember, you don't judge them by their hook nose. You don't judge them by how ugly some of their women really are. Good God. And some of their women are beautiful. By the way, Pam Bondi is one of them. And she's beautiful. You got to understand, it's all mixed up. The devil mixed it up. And Trump is doing his best to sow as much confusion as he can. Because Trump's job is to America first. We conquer America first. We take America down. And then the world is our oyster. They can't touch us. Everything is at our disposal. And actually, America's already been taken down. We can't even use our military to defend ourselves anymore. My God, if I was president, Gavin Newsom would be in leg irons and hand irons. Full set of irons on his ass. Perp walked. Every Israeli dual citizen in the Congress and on the Supreme Court and in the Senate would be perp walked in irons. Everyone that's in the CDC and the FDA, the bureaucracy that is a dual citizen, would be perp walked. I know. Makes me sound like Adolf, right? No, I'm pretty pissed off about it. And I think I got a hard line and I'm too easily triggered on this stuff, but it kind of upsets me. I mean, what about you? Are you pissed off enough yet? Because if you are, then call Trump on his frickin' bluff. Tell him to get the hell out of office, that we don't need him anymore. Let's swear in J.D. Vance. Give Vance a chance. Give Vance a chance. Get rid of the PEDO president. And tell J.D. if he doesn't release Epstein file, no redactions on any of it. Not even on those children that were so done to. And as far as those victims goes, we need to see justice for them. And as far as the nation goes, the victims need to help us in that and tolerate it. And we need to protect them. But the first thing is, let's get rid of the PEDO president, Donald J. Trump. He says he doesn't want our support. Call his bluff. Pull his support. And insist that he be removed from office, not merely impeached. Man, the third time's the charm. Let's strike his ass out of there. May Yahweh bless.